Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Dive Bomb Industries. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
It is SquadFest week. We'll be here in a matter of days, and on the line with us today, we've got the man behind it all, Mr. Cody Stokes. We are excited to have you, my friend.
Well, thank you. Thanks as always for having me. Love being here.
Year 2 of SquadFest. It went by in a hurry, and we actually added on an extra month because last year it was in June. This year it's in July. So,
and it's going to be cooler this year, thank God.
But, I mean, it has gone by in a hurry.
It has. It's flown, you know, and the cooler thing, I look at the weather. The weather looks great for Friday. I think low in the mid-60s. Can you believe that, Jeff? After last year being, I think, 105 and 95% humidity on asphalt. So, you know, it should be easy to beat last year's weather, but the outlook's looking great. But yeah, year 2, we're pumped. It's the final countdown.
Now you're having it remote this year. Y'all are having it in a park, correct? And last year you had
exactly. Yep. So I'll give you. Last year we had it at our headquarters here. We had it in the parking lot and the side yard and all throughout the warehouse, and it was we didn't know what to expect being year 1. But the turnout was absolutely insane. You know, we had buses and shuttles running from the hotel nearby, and the first bus came in, and it was just packed full, jam. We had a line running out the showroom door, maybe 200-300 yards long out into the street, and smash success. And so this year, we know that this facility cannot handle if we have one more person than we did last year. So we moved it out to an awesome park pavilion area not far from the shop. Great outdoor place. It's Lakeside 370. So there's a pavilion. There's obviously a lake, big lots for numerous vendors. So I don't know if there's 60 some odd vendors, not including food trucks and drink and so on. So should be awesome.
It is. So what did you are you kind of following the same recipe that you had last year, or have you tweaked some things? Did you learn some things like, okay, we don't need to do that again, let's do more of this?
Yeah, we've got more bathrooms and more beer vendors. That's what
they go hand in hand.
That's really what we learned. More facilities, more food trucks, more beer vendors, you know. And this year, in addition to beer, we'll have spirits and wine and I don't know, seltzers and whatever else. You know, viewing area, just everything is going to be much, much bigger. I hope we have the same turnout from out of town. You know, looking at fuel and inflation and whatever else is going on, we got a little nervous that we weren't going to see a lot of people road tripping in. But some of the latest posts we put on social media were about, obviously, SquadFest, promoting it, and the people were saying they're coming in from Indiana, Michigan. You guys are Texas, so hopefully we get to Friday and Saturday, and we're taken aback by all the out of towners. But we've done a lot of local promotions. So surprisingly enough, a lot of our core group of people is social media. If you follow us, you know how important that is to us. So we've done a lot of groundwork here. Billboards. I think we've got 5 billboards around Greater St. Louis promoting the event for local people to come out and, you know, see their hometown waterfowl and company. So, you know, and a couple new things would be, we have a dog event this year. We had bags this last year, which was a success. So we'll have it again. And then we also have a dog combine challenge, SquadFest. It's a three-part challenge for SquadFest. And then we have a simple but fun contest called the Bumper Bomber Challenge. And then, and I'll stop after this, to wrap it all up on Saturday night as the grand finale, we have an incredible band coming, Murphy 500, I think 4 or 5 piece band. with lights, big stage presence, blowout party till 11 o'clock. So, I mean, it should be incredible.
That's very good. And I mean, kudos to you guys. If the major thing that you had to change from last year was more beer vendors and more bathrooms, like that just shows how big of a success it was last year. If that was all that you really, if that was the biggest tweak that you came away with, was we needed more beer and more bathrooms. So my hat's off to you. Last year was ran impeccably well, and year 2 is going to be even better.
I say it's Chick-fil-A standards. That's how good y'all's event was. It was Chick-fil-A standards, and I think that is the highest rating you can possibly get, because nobody ever complains about Chick-fil-A standards on anything.
Well, as Chick-fil-A says, Jeff, my pleasure.
There you go. That's exactly right.
That's what they're trained to say after you order. But if you think last year was great, we have spent, I think, 100% or 100 times as much time in. I got a visitor here, Lauren from the warehouse, but there he is. Hey, I'm on a podcast. Let me get back here. Sorry. You're all right. That's actually my oldest employee. That's Lauren Roberts. He's
met him last year.
But we spent 100 times the amount of time in preparation. Ashley, my sister, who you've met, she's dedicated hours and tens of hours to making sure everything is absolutely dialed in. So
it's going to be great.
Hats off to her.
What, speaking of the inflation and all that shit show, have you seen the latest video with Hunter Biden? It came out this morning. Don Jr. posted it.
Yeah, with the crack on the scale and the prostitute.
I was proud of him. He was haggling with the lady. He was wanting to get a good deal. I mean, hell, he's the only Biden in the deal that's at least trying to get a good deal for us.
At least trying to get a good deal out of the thing. But
I was looking at the scale and listening to him for all of a second, and I don't know if it's drug lingo, but he missed the decimal
place.
Did. It was 20.7 on the scale.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you
I did
that.
too.
Maybe that's drug lingo. I don't know.
But
yeah, what a mess. I mean,
I don't get it. And
2 days ago, he was greeting people at the White House. They had an event, and he was one of the greeters.
And the mainstream media will not cover it. 100% will not touch this story.
My 2-second segue. I was talking about how I was worried some people were going to. I was basically talking about inflation and fuel prices overall. And I had someone dear to me say, "Hey, you make decent money. What's it matter to you that fuel prices are the way they are?" Well, from a principal standpoint, I don't want to pay any more than I have to. We shouldn't be paying this much in fuel. But when you think about it, and I thought about it after I left, and I thought about every one of our customers, every supplier, whether it's food, paper towels, product, everything, the plastics that go into our products, every single piece of that is touched by fuel prices. And if everyone's spending, their discretionary spending on fuel, then what can they afford? Fuel and food. What can they afford for decoys and whatever else? So I thought that was, from a guy that I really respect and as smart as he is, I won't name him, it was kind of like a head scratcher. But anyway,
people are out of touch. But everybody I know, everybody is affected. They may not realize it. If you've got millions and millions of dollars, you're affected because the stuff you buy costs more now. And nobody wants to spend extra money. It's keeping you from doing stuff. I mean, that's the problem in D.C. Those people have so much money and they live in a circle. If they cost them extra $500 a month for food, they don't care, or whatever it is. But there's people on fixed budgets that can't afford that. And I was thinking about that coming to St. Louis. At one time, I contemplated us flying, all of us flying up there. Just be a lot easier to get on an airplane Thursday night, fly up and fly back home Sunday morning or Saturday night late. Well, airplane tickets have went up a ton, but I was doing that because of the price of fuel. I figure it's going to take us 5 tanks of gas, 2 tanks up there, 1 dicking around and 2 coming back probably. And now you're looking at $5 a gallon gas. So when it was $3 a gallon, you're spending 2, you're getting 25 gallons when you fill up. So it's going to cost us $250 extra to drive up there. That's not going to kill us by any means. But there are a lot of people that can't afford $250 that would have. Yeah. And hotel rooms are a lot more expensive than they used to be. It's effective.
Yeah, that's $250. $250 you could have spent with Dive Bomb or any vendor. Vendor that's there on something that's fun or for your kid or food or who knows what. So yeah, unfortunately I think we have started to see the impact of fuel and inflation on our sales in general. I mean, we're not hurting by any means, but I just I think there's a lot. I don't think there's a lot of good coming down the pipe here.
Well, and when you look at,
not to be pessimistic, but I'm a little
when
worried.
you look at our business, everybody's business model is in the hunting industry. It's purely a hobby. It's entertainment. Is, you know, you don't have to buy a hunt with Stanfield Hunting Outfitters. You don't have to buy dot. You don't have to buy calls or anything like that. It's pure entertainment. And when the rubber starts meeting the road, like, you know, we know that here at Stanfield, like, we're going to be the first thing that people are like, okay, I don't need to spend money on this year. So it's scary. And for anybody to be like, oh, what's the extra, you know, what's the extra however much at gas? That's not the point. It's going to affect businesses if things continue to go the way that they are. I'm with you. I'm scared shitless, to be honest with you.
It ain't going to get any better either, because utility prices are going up tremendously. The shipping from China's got to be killing everybody right now if you can get product. And then the cost of it's what a container cost 3 years ago from China to get here.
A year ago, or just over a year ago, it was around $5,000, $5,000 to $6,000 for a 40-foot high cube. That's the biggest container you can ship from China. Earlier this year and at the end of last year, it got up over $30,000. What's that? Five to six times. So we held our prices through, I think, almost the first quarter of this year. And unfortunately, we were long overdue for, I don't want to say an increase, but I'd like to call it an adjustment, right, just based on where everything is gone. I mean, the V2 silhouettes, that's our mainstay. In 10 years, I hadn't increased prices, 10 freaking years. And it just was chipping away at our margin. And we increased it slightly just to kind of cover that shipping cost. But we took a lot of it on the chin last year. But there's, you know, I think demand is slowing, and I think shipping lanes are kind of opening up. So this is the lowest I've seen shipping prices in about a year, and that's $15,000 a container, which is about 3 times what it was. Still, that's for three times. When you look at an increase, you know, historically, we look at increases, we look at them in a 2 to 5% range. 2 to 5%. You know, 5 times would be 500%. I don't know what percent change that is. A 495% change. That's insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
That is nuts. You're talking about the price of stuff. I had a guy, I was on a forum I was on the other day, and he was talking, he was bitching about how much it costs to hunt these days. He goes, you know, that's how I feed my family. Is I don't hunt for entertainment. I hunt for just a pure satisfaction of feeding my family. Dude, you can buy ribeye steaks and feed them every night cheaper than you can eat a duck breast. I don't care what you're doing. There's no way that feeding your family ducks and geese is cheaper than going to the grocery store and buying a ribeye. Get rid of all your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe I thought that. That's the worst argument you can have for being a hunter is I'm doing it to feed my family.
Yeah.
Not when you look. I mean, that
Yep,
$1,000 waders, $2,000 shotguns. Like calm down with feeding your family for cheaper. So I saw that you guys are coming out with fully flocked specklebelly decoys.
Yeah, they're actually out. So we've got they're out. We started selling them last Friday. So I'm not sure what's still left in stock, but it's limited run stuff. We'll continue to produce it, but there's always the front end of production. So we've got 1,000 dozen or however many dozen here now, and there'll be more that come down the road. But yeah, V2 FF, which is fully flocked, specs launched last Friday, and then prior to that, we had our V2 FF Canada, and then we're just going to keep going down the line. Fully flocked, everything we've got. I mean, mallards are coming. Our alternate position, those are in production. Sleeper Canadas, and I said the mallards, but the mallards are really actually they're cool. The colors, the green head, the iridescence. There's really not iridescence as far as like we have something that's reflective in there, but they make such a difference. That green flocked head, I think, looks so freaking great, especially if you've been running V2Fs, which is our flocked head Canada silhouette. When you run a flock next to an unflocked silhouette, granted, the unflocked silhouettes are still very, very effective. There are still people to this day that prefer them for different reasons. But if you run a flock next to an unflocked, the flock just looks so much better. And then when you look and you run a fully flocked next to a flock, the fully flocked are just absolutely insane. But with the fully flocked, especially on the Canadas, it's kind of an intensive process, or it is an intensive process to where we run pure black flock on the head to match the pure black flock on the V2F head. So when we originally put them out, we had V2F next to V2FF, and V2F's head was so black because the flocking was dyed and not printed that we had to go in and do 2 flocking processes on the V2FF. One flocking process for the body, which gets screen printed or printed over with multiple layers to give the depth and definition of the body feathers. And then we had to go in and do flocking by itself for just the head, which would be pure black flocking. So anyway, very intensive process for the V2FS.
So let me, and this is kind of the business mindset. Do you roll out fully flocked? I almost got it. Do you roll out fully flocked kind of when is there like a formula that you have? So like, okay, that you can accurately gauge what the demand for fully flocked is going to be? Like, okay, if I've got this many people buying just the regulars and this many people buying the flocked heads, I can kind of get a barometer on what we're going to need fully flocked wise?
Yeah, that would be more, I think, year 2. Right now, it's pretty much ramp up. We're making them pretty much as fast as we can to this point. So we'll see a ramp up, I'm sure, for the next probably 2 to 3 years. But so as far as gaining or having a forecast for the new product, no. But to add to that, we have a customer base, so there is a set customer base. I don't like to say we're mature, but when we send stuff out, we're advertising to a lot of the times the same customers who bought before. So if a guy now who is a V2F guy is now buying a V2FF, we're looking at how's this going to impact the F more so than how's this going to impact the FF. Because right now we're building FFs as fast as we can. So when we introduced the A, which is the alternate, obviously it impacted the normal production because a piece of your sales went to A's and not V2. So we kind of look at it as we can sell FFs. We don't know when it's going to mature. We're going to keep bringing them in and pushing them out, but we need to kind of be cognizant of how's this going to impact the models behind it.
Yeah.
So,
going back to SquadFest, it's funny now because you guys have kind of set the standard of having I see different companies having events during the summer. I think that kind of started when everybody saw the success that you guys had.
I don't know if that's the case, but this is we spend a lot of time and time's money, but we spend a lot of money on this event, and I don't think we make any money on it. I mean, as far as brand recognition, brand awareness, long term, I think we definitely benefit from it. Relationships we gain from it, but as far as like a net end of sale, we lose money. Yeah. I mean, the band, the pavilion, all of everything that goes into it. It's the payouts and prizes. I mean, gosh, it's $30,000 in prize payouts, and that comes from entrance to the open is $100 a caller. I think we have 20. What's that? $2,000. I mean, that's not a cash payout from entrance. That's us paying out. Anyway, more or less, this is more of we want to give back to our customers. We want to have everyone out and welcome them in from near and far, and just have a wonderful weekend with everyone who's supported us over the last almost 11 and a half years. But if everyone wants to follow suit, buck up. Put up $30,000 in payouts, provide free water, hand out some meals here and there, lots of time and effort on our end going to this to just help the community is really what we think of it.
I told someone the other day that's in the industry was talking about it, and I told him, I said, I promise you right now that Cody Stokes, if you told him he would break exactly even on this, he'd take that in a heartbeat and be happy as hell.
Oh, I'd be happy if we broke.
That's what I told.
I don't think we're gonna.
No.
I don't think we're going to, but we're too far in at this point. So, it was a COVID buster. It's kind of how Asher and I talked about it. All these calling Maryland was canceled. All these calling contests were canceled, and no one was doing anything, even though you still had outside. And I don't understand COVID, to be totally honest with you. How's it just go away? But, you know, if everyone cancels, we have this lot and availability and enough people and resources to put everyone together for a great time in a time where no one was being social. That's kind of how this spawned. So, you know, at the end of this year, we'll probably take a step back when it's all settled down and the dust is settled, and we'll say, you know, is this worth it? Did everyone have a great time? How did we do monetarily? You know, how's the turnout? And we'll go from there. So it's kind of a year-to-year thing that we'll see what happens.
I think St. Louis is a great place to have it because it's a 9-hour drive for us. And if you take a circle around St. Louis and you go 9 hours, you can touch most places on the East Coast at least. I don't know how far. I've drove from St. Louis east about. How far is Cleveland from you? 9 hours?
I don't think it's that far. I think it's like 7 or 8.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're such a good location, and you get all of that Illinois, all that hunting through that upper Midwest up there, all along the great. I'm excited. I know that we've got about 5 or 6 good friends of ours that are from different parts of the country that are all coming to just come for that. We're all getting together for that weekend. I'm excited about it. I cannot wait. It's going to be a really good time. We had a great time last year. The calling contest, you know, I'm not a calling contest guy, but if I was a calling contest guy, that would be the one I would go to because all the big boys are coming again, I guess. I mean, and the payout is tremendous. Yep. I think it's the highest paying out contest in America, isn't it?
I don't know of one larger.
I don't either. And that's going to bring the big boys in. Shanahan's coming.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
he'll be there.
If he can get his ass to come out of retirement.
Browns, Iverson.
Yeah, all the big boys will be there.
Yep, whole bunch of guys.
So if you're listening to this, come see it.
Well,
come see it, you know, and I'll go over just a touch more. There's going to be call vendors and other vendors in the industry, but specifically call vendors because we kind of stay neutral. We do stay neutral with our call vendors. We've got friends throughout. It's so saturated, but there's going to be awesome calls, awesome callers. So if you're an aspiring contest caller or meet caller, field caller, you know, come out, try out any call. These guys that are working the calls, the call vendors, they're so nice. There's great product there. And then additionally, a lot of these, most of these contest guys, I haven't met one who's not this way, but they'll help you out. You know, you walk up to 100 rounds and there's no way, and especially from, I've never met his father, but apparently he never turned a kid away as far as who needed help and needed mentoring. So I'd like to think he was a great ambassador for this whole sport, and everyone's kind of carried that with him. I'd like to say you could go up to any of these guys and say, hey, you know, lend me a minute of your time. You know, here's where I am on my calling. Give me a couple pointers. And there's no other better resource out there than this huge pool of champions that are coming here. So take advantage of it.
I mean,
is what I say.
I think most people would take 5 minutes and give an up and comer 5 minutes of their time. I think that's pretty reasonable for you to say. And I think I think most people would welcome it. It makes them feel special because there was somebody in their life that took the time to, you know, pave the way and give them a little pointer here and there. So it'll be good. I think if more kids can get out there and, like you said, just take advantage of the resource. You got multiple world champions at your disposal that you can just run up and talk to and say, hey, if you're of age, say, let me grab you a beer and let's talk about this real quick.
Absolutely.
How was your duck season this last year?
My teal season locally was great. We shot as many teal in 2 weeks as we shot big ducks. And I'm just speaking on my little place north of St. Louis. Teal season was phenomenal. And then big duck here, 60-day long. You know, the first week was slow. Second and third week in November was lights out. And I was on the notion where we take it easy on these birds and try to, you know, shoot our limit, get in, get out, you know, not over hunt it, give a little rest here and there. And, you know, once Thanksgiving hit, there wasn't another front that came through. All these birds got stale. Everything turned nocturnal. And that was it. It was, you know, if you look at we keep kill sheet. And if you look at that kill sheet, it's 80% of the birds we shot were in the second and third week of November. So something's got to give here. I don't know if weather oriented or, the big theme in this area, there are 70 miles of counties from St. Charles County all the way up wherever Hannibal is. I'm not sure. Is that Pike County? Anyway, that's literally flooded corn. And I'm not saying we keep the ducks longer. We may keep the ducks longer because we have corn. But what it does is it turns the ducks nocturnal. They go to a refuge, or they'll go to a place that's never hunted. They'll sit all day. And right when the sun goes down, once shooting time is over, they're in at night. And they'll sit there all night long. It's a heck of a show. The wild thing is you won't even go out in the field. You can be sitting on the deck or in the parking lot and looking out over a field. And as soon as that sun starts to get up, just before shooting time, you'll see droves and droves and droves of birds get out of the corn, and they're going right back to the refuge. They get smart quick here. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
But you said they only feed on when it's flooded corn. They'll do that.
Well, we have a ton of flooded corn here. So moist soil units. Early season, you get them. If they're in a refuge, the birds will be in it, especially if there's cover. If you go through one of the big refuges up north here, Clarence Canyon, you'll go in during the heaviest pressured part of the season, stalest time ever. You look out over the wetlands, you'll see nothing. You drive down the road, the main entrance road, there's huge willows that line this road. There'll be thousands and thousands of birds that blow out from that tree line. And then once you get past them, they'll all suck back in. But I think the birds have such a great opportunity to feed easily in corn that they just go in, they feed all night long, and then they fly back to refuge at day.
So do you think it's because they feel safe in the flooded corn, because it's kind of got that water aspect, and they know that if they're on water, they're safe from natural predators for the most part?
I think that they just know that they're safe there at night. I think that every one of them is either like an accelerated Darwinism, and I'm getting crazy here, but like every bird over the last 50 years that's come in and tried to feed in the corn in the daytime is dead.
Right.
Or it's just a matter of they learn pretty quick how to stay away from a blind, not to go in the corn, during the daytime, and they only go in at night. So I don't know. I mean, we should have some guys that study this stuff and do this for a living come in and really evaluate, what this is doing, and maybe we put some regulations in place.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's this sort of thing fascinates me, because we literally might be on the cutting edge of a new duck if we continue to do these practices, and it might just be a totally nocturnal animal where flooded corn is available. We might be altering their species and how they feed.
Everybody says that. I mean, everybody I've talked to said the same thing. A guy in Oklahoma that floods a bunch of property, northern Oklahoma, told me 3 years ago that they were seeing where their ducks, he said, we're feeding 10,000 ducks, let's say. I can't remember the number he said, but he said, they don't feed till 6 o'clock in the evening. We get shooting times 5:30. He said, by 6 o'clock, this thing's covered up. He goes, and they feed all night long. And he said, by 3 or 4 in the morning, they're gone. And he said, they go sit somewhere on a roost and they sit there all day long. And then at 6 o'clock at night, they come back and they feed. And he said, he said, we have found that if we turn the water off the corn, they feed during the day again. So,
and I tell you what else, that fly has adapted to this fucking fly swatter. He knows when I pick it up, he's got to go.
Did you miss again?
I missed again.
God almighty.
I missed again. But no, I mean, it is. It's something that we need to look at for future generations, because, I mean, having ducks that feed at night don't do anybody any good. You might have a shitload of ducks in your area, but if you can't hunt them and they're only feeding at night, well, what good does that flooded corn do you?
That's right. And the crazy thing is if we get a wet day, precip day, high wind day, birds will fly during the day. I mean, the nastiest weather, the heaviest rain you could imagine equals better hunting here, which is like contrary to everything you hear out west.
Right.
Bluebird day, it used to be Northwest Missouri used to be that way, and I think it's going the corn direction, just like this side of the state, the east side of the state.
So, did you do any traveling last year?
Yeah. So two notable trips. There's I went to Scotland for the first time, which, Aberdeen Wings, Wild Wings of Scotland, Christian, unbelievable. If you guys have done a lot, if you've got the resources to spend, a week over in Scotland, It's very cool, culturally very different. The hunting there was superb. It was pink feet. So pink feet migrate in from the Arctic through Iceland, and then they hit Europe, UK and whatnot. But these birds were roosting on salt water, and they'd fly inland several miles to like barley fields. And we hunted them just like specs. We hunted it. They actually decoyed more like snows, straight vertical. I mean, out of nowhere, they just drop in, landing gear down, almost like dropped like a duck, almost like straight into a timber hole. But the hunting there was phenomenal. The weather rainy, but the people were cool. I mean, we hunted out of an old Land Rover Defender with this small aluminum trailer, just with silhouettes and socks and some layouts and panel blinds, and it was a phenomenal time. The hunting and the people were great. So Scotland won, and then went to Canada a couple times. I went to Ontario, which was awesome. Upstate New York for early honker, which was badass. That's 15 birds unplugged, and we hunted big group of guys, 8-10 guys, in panel blinds or A-frames. We never got to limit on 15 birds with 8 to 10 guys. That would just be insane. And then northern or Alberta, central Alberta is awesome. So those were the highlights of my season.
Go ahead and pick his brain about Scotland, Jeff.
Me and Michelle are going to Scotland next summer, and I can't wait. I'm not a beer drinker, but I want to go to one of them little, whatever they call them, taverns. Pub. Yes, that's what I'm looking for, pub. And I want to have one of those thick beers just to say I had it. I probably will not like it because I don't even like beer anyway.
Be like oatmeal.
You can get those here. That's Guinness. I think that's an Irish beer, but Scotland's famous for what? Scotch. So we went. Yeah, we did Scotch tasting over there. But the interesting thing about it, that's old. That's an old process. Predates America, But the interesting thing is all the Scotland's, not all of them, but I think a lot of the barrels that they now produce Scotch in are coming from Kentucky.
What?
Or yeah, they're bourbon barrels. So one of the laws of bourbons is it has to be in a virgin oak barrel, okay, right? So you cannot reuse an oak barrel to make bourbon. So 1 and out is basically a bourbon barrel. So bourbon barrels in the States, they'll go to other spirit makers. They'll go to some beer guys or aging stout beer in bourbon barrels. But a lot of those barrels get exported over to Scotland to be repurposed or recharred for Scotch. Sure. So you're drinking some of the Scotch, or most of the Scotch nowadays is basically you're taking in the taste of American oak, American bourbon, which is now pushed out into Scottish Scotch. So it's kind of like, the Scotch part's cool, but honestly, I kind of think bourbon's cooler. I mean, it's more natural. It's got more laws to it. I think it tastes better. But Scotch is what I'd recommend getting into over there. It's kind of neat. They show you the different areas, the taste profiles of the areas, and that was pretty cool.
I would like to go I'd like to go see the old Scotch distilleries or whatever they call them. Don't they make brandy? Mm-hmm. Isn't brandy made out of bourbon barrels also? I thought it was fermented wine I think brandy is wine that they turn to brandy, I guess.
Liquor.
I think so.
Yeah, it's liquor.
I cannot wait to drive through the Highlands of Scotland to see the old castles, the old moors, and to go look. That's what I cannot wait for. Yep. I just want to drive and be gone. My wife, I don't think, is near as excited about this trip as I am, but she will be when we get. She'll be all about it about a month before we go. But I am so excited. That's one place I've always wanted to go. I do not want to go to London, but I probably, if we're going to go that far, we'll probably go to London for a day or two.
Dangerous.
I will back you up, Jeff. I will say that if you're going to go and think you're going to drive, you better think about it hard because they're on the other side of the road. And that is confusing.
Is it that bad?
I mean, even crossing the street, Jeff.
Yes.
I mean, you got to learn to look. You got to learn to look the other way. And the roads, especially the roads you're describing, from what I've seen, the Highlands and the castles and things, they are tight. And sometimes these buses come ripping through there. I don't know. These guys are skilled drivers, so be careful, Jeff.
Have you drove in Puerto Rico?
I have not.
That prepares you.
I've never been.
Prepares you for anywhere in the world to drive. It's the worst place. They have cars that are made for skateboards that are 2-lane highways.
They have 2-lane roads that only one car can fit down. It's wild. And it's cliff on one side and trees on another. So, like, there's no good option.
But you're crossing the road. When I was drunk in Jamaica when I was 21 years old, and let me tell you, I about got run over 3 or 4 different times because you're just so used to looking at traffic the way you do here to cross the street, and you almost walk right out in front of a fucking car. It's that quick.
Jamaicans drive on the
yes.
left?
Are you sure about that, Jeff?
I'm positive. I wasn't that drunk.
Oh. Maybe you were
English,
just seeing things backwards.
It's an English colony at one time.
They do.
I believe you. I've never been, to be honest.
They do in St. Lucia also. And when we got on the bus to go to our resort, I was questioning things. But I think I had remembered seeing, because when did y'all went to Scotland in October, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. October.
So
Jamaica, you drive on the left side of the road, Jeff. Google got you. You are correct.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I wasn't that drunk. If you've never been to Jamaica, Jamaica is as beautiful a place as I've ever been in the entire world. But you can take the ghettos of St. Louis and put beautiful water in that, and that's like being in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Beautiful place, but scary as hell.
Do you travel any when it's not hunting season? You go anywhere?
Yeah, I'm going to Montana in about a week for 3 days, and then I'm actually going on a group trip with a bunch of my old friends and their families to Michigan for about a week.
Where y'all going to Michigan?
And then I'm done. It's just through Indiana. It's New Buffalo is the name of the town. It's like south Michigan on Lake Michigan. Not far drive from St. Louis. I think it's like 5-6 hours. But after that, I'm pretty much planted here for hunting, and business will pick up. Once we get through 4th of July, which we are currently, it's just basically business will accelerate all the way into December to January, and then we start to see the slowdown. So once I get through these summer trips, got a bunch of weddings. Gosh, everyone who's getting married that might be listening, congratulations. But weddings, I got weddings on the East Coast. I got 2, one in Virginia, one in New Hampshire, and they're expensive, I tell you. Man.
So are weddings. Biggest waste of money in the world, weddings and funerals.
And funerals, huh?
Funerals are a waste of money, too.
Yeah.
Just burn.
A little morbid.
Hey,
burn you up, put you in a box.
Put you in an oven, bake you, put you in an ashtray, and leave you for the rest of your life. My dad's sitting right over there in a goose decoy, and he's happy as hell right there. We could have had a big $20,000 burial, and we didn't.
I mean, you can't ask him if he's happy. Maybe he's not. Maybe
that's
he wants to be somewhere else.
Oh, he knew what he was saying. My dad is getting burned through Boss shotgun shells and in a decoy at a hunting lodge that his boys have. He's a happy man. But weddings are the biggest waste of money in the world. And the only people that realize that is the people that have to pay for them. People, the young girl that's getting married, she has no clue. But when it's her daughter getting married, she's like, well, this is a big waste of money. Well, yeah, that's what you did to your dad. Have a simple ceremony and go spend time and have a big party and enjoy life. New Hampshire in the summer, that'll be nice.
Yeah, should be nice.
So
should be nice.
What new products, what all can we expect from Dive Bomb for the 2022-2023 hunting season? What can you tell us?
2022, 2023, we'll have our gear line has been great. We've not rushed this gear line. When I say gear, I mean like technical outerwear. We call it our technical line. So base layer and mid layer, I think just about everyone has seen. It's been received extremely well. Both pieces phenomenal. And for the money, I think they're the best thing under the sun. Even not for the money, I think the 2 pieces I could wear from now till the end of time. I don't know how you can make them better, but there'll be additional pieces to that. Shell, vest, several other items that are coming 2022, 2023. Outside of that, we had great success with our kickback last year, which was our layout chair. So this year we've got, in addition to that, we've got an A-frame or hybrid, we're calling it, which is an A-frame / panel style blind. So you can separate the 2 sides and use it as either a panel, put it as an A-frame. And the features in it, the features and quality and the price are going to be unbelievable. That should be out in the next month and a half. We have a chair we call the high chair. Not high chair. We kind of joke. We don't want to sell it with a pacifier, so we couldn't name it the high chair. So we call it the high seat. So that's a convertible chair that you'll see coming with it. A dog blind. For next year, we'll have a layout blind, but that's not on the horizon for this fall. And then we've got a dove product or two that's coming out, hopefully before we get heated into dove season. So we see that as kind of a pretty big market opportunity that we all take advantage of here. Dove season's big here. I know it's not like you guys down in Texas, but it's not a holiday, but it's close to it. So, and then decoy wise, our V2FF line, our socks, we've got, every year or so, we take all the feedback that our customers give us, and it's a common phrase, continuous improvement. And we like to stress that here, hence V2, S3. Those are all the second, third versions. You'll see an I here and there, which is we consider not a major overhaul, but we've taken the S3i line of socks and the thousands and thousands we've sold. We've taken all the feedback, condensed it, and put some focus on improving that product to make it even better. So that's cool. Look out for improved socks, S3II. I don't know what we're really calling it right now, but that'll be out really soon. There's a company or two out there that have copied our 2 generations ago model that are just now selling, which is kind of funny. Some bigger guys growing up who I'd never thought would do something as simple and as lame brain as that are now doing that. And all the while, this is my little rant, they'll send letters that say, cease and desist, you've copied our product. Here's a letter from a fancy attorney. You better not do this or we're going to sue your ass. It's like, I can review this with my attorney. You want to make additional claims to your patent to try to stop me from doing something like this when it's old art, they call it, arbitrary junk. Come on, guys. Give me a break. And then all the while, you go copy one of our products verbatim. And I'm kind of going on a tangent here because this is one of the things that stresses me. But look for new and improved existing products. Our flag, we spent a ton of time on the flag, but there were a few oversights on it. It was stiff in the shaft, stiff in the wings, the handle at the bottom, with the wing shaft or wings being so stiff, it's hard to really get it to flap.
Right.
We've loosened all that up. It's a ergonomically friendly flag now. We've moved the handle up. We've softened the grip. We've softened the flap or floppiness of the flag, so it feels more like the flags everyone used to. Super Flag 2.0, it'll be out this fall. It's badass. Dog products, bumpers. We've got another style of bumper coming out, which is like our upper end bumper. And the cool product we have that we pair with our bumpers is our bumper bomber, which is a throwing device that makes training more fun for your dog and training more fun for you. So ergonomically friendly. You can pick up the bumper from the ground. You can throw the bumper further. You get more leverage. There's a lot of other things that you can do with the bumper bomber. So I don't know. That's a brief overview. I could talk and talk, but I'll let you guys continue.
That was my only complaint with the flag was that to hold it. That was the only thing. It was just a little cumbersome to hold, but I mean it was tough. It was durable. It's not going to break on you.
Yeah.
But I mean you make that minor little adjustment and you got a home run right there.
It should be a home run. We didn't see any returns. We saw almost zero quality complaints, quality concerns. It was basically, back to my point for continuous improvement. When you create a product, and I don't want to say we created Falcon X like Elon Musk, but when you create a product like that, it gets to a point where we're going to draw the line on development and we're going to push this to production. Because we've seen everything we can here in this office and taking it around locally that we're going to see. So we're going to push it out and we're going to back the product. And then we're going to take the product and the feedback we see from our consumer and we're going to make changes to make the product better. And this is a prime example of, was it a good product? Yes. Could it have been better? Yes. So, look at us for that. If you buy a product from us, is this the end of all time? Is this the way the product's going to be forever? No. But look for that product to be improved. I think you're going to love Super Flag 2.0. Matter of fact, I'm going to write down to get you one as soon as I have one so you can shake her down and see how she feels.
Oh, beautiful. I really appreciate that. But,
you're welcome.
And you're exactly right. Like, there's only so far that you can push something. And eventually, eventually you just got to push it out and see, you've made it as best as you can and let's push it out and see what the market says. And I mean, if the grip on the flag is kind of the biggest complaint, then overall you got a really good product. I mean,
grip and the stiffness of the wings, and those two are adjusted, and it's phenomenal.
So what the blind? How long has that been a project that's been going on over there?
So we've been toying with this style A-frame, high vertical blind, whichever way. We're trying to get away from calling it an A-frame,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't tell. So we're calling it
That's why I didn't call
vertical
it that.
blind. Thank you. Vertical blind or panel or whichever one we're calling the Hyvert. That's our name. HY-VERT. We've been toying with that for over 2.5-3 years. We did an accordion style lightweight. We did. I think I talked on your podcast years ago about a G-frame style. So when you look at the profile or the small end of the blind, that's where A comes from. Well, if you adjust that profile and make one end higher and bring it in, it kind of becomes a G. And you can kind of see with my hands what I'm doing. And when we saw a competitor do that, maybe they heard it on the podcast. Maybe they had the same idea. But I don't think that's been an astounding success. I think the versatility of the A-style blind, being able to shoot out the front or the back, has been great. But anyway, 2.5 years, I'd say, we've spent toying with different designs. And then we've spent about 8-9 months with this current design. Materials, tooling changes to the plastic components as far as materials go. We completely scrapped a whole lot of covers, you call it. We moved our stubble straps. We tightened our stubble straps. We deepened our pockets. We changed the backing on it. And we spent a ton of money in scrapping it. Oversight is, I think, just a part of development. And if you can't embrace it, then I guess you're not going to be doing it for long. So my development guy, Tommy, he sees the price tag on what we spent scrapping, however many A-frames we'd had in production, and he's losing sleep. He's being hard on himself. He's thinking I'm going to come in and I'm going to rip his head off. And in fact, I do the opposite. Is this 20, 30, 15 grand, whatever it is up front. Whereas if we produced and just said, we're just going to ride this, what we see as a major issue, we're just going to push it out and let our consumer deal with it. Some of them may say something, some of them won't. Well, the short-term and long-term effect of that will end up costing us way more than $30,000. The internet alone, from this 5 different posts, can probably sink this product. I don't want to go as far as to say that, but we'd rather spend the money up front to make the product right than introduce a pile of what.
How hard of a conversation is that for him to be like, listen, you're probably not going to like this.
It's pretty.
And how much thought goes into it on your end? Like, okay, let's just eat it and start.
Well, we arrive at the outcome together. I mean, it's basically let's go. How can we make what we have right? And if we can't do that, then there's no other option but to scrap what we've got. And you need to try to mitigate that as much as possible. But when we're accelerating things, especially being a seasonal company, you kind of get to when I said earlier that launch time, you've got to pull the trigger. Sometimes some things you find in sampling, some things you find in production, and some things you find out in the field when 2,000 people use it different ways, and that's just kind of the process.
Right. Would the G style blind, would that be more conducive to like somebody that's going to have maybe a permanent style setup? Because I kind of think of like the G's. I kind of think of that like when I think of like a permanent type. This is where it is, and our back's always going to be the same.
Yeah,
it's always going to kind of come from the same spot.
It would be directional, not an omnidirectional, but like a field edge with obviously a prevailing wind, strong prevailing wind. And the benefits we thought of a G-frame would be, if you've got the wind to your back, the rain's obviously going to be from your back, and then you've got effectively an overhang. So you can stay comfortable and you can stay dry and you can kind of move freely underneath that G-style hood, so to speak. But it's cumbersome. It's big. The one side becomes massive. Brushing it becomes massive. Shooting out of the back nearly becomes impossible. There's a lot of hunting that goes on in the middle of the fields that you wouldn't be conducive to G style. So I think as far as user-friendly versatility goes, the A or vertical style blind is king.
Right.
So
you got to that conclusion all on your own. Is there going to be any expansion to the floater line this year?
Yes. Thank you for asking. So we have specs.
Ooh.
First run of specs are coming. So two positions on the specs, semi-upright and more arrestor position. We'll add to that later on down the road, but just to get the product out there, our mallards, we started with 6 positions, but our honkers, we have 2. I have 2 additional ones I'm actually looking at over here that we'll add to that package coming down the line. But specs for sure. I'm not sure if everyone has seen or heard, but we now have widgeon, we have blue-winged teal, and we have pintail. Those are all available right now. Those are gorgeous. I mean, spare no expense on size, on carving, on paint job. They're absolutely gorgeous, flawless, tough as nails. Price is competitive, but I think for what you're getting, the price is absolutely unbelievable. It's so crazy when you look at the floater market. It's so saturated, and I don't know how there can be a dozen decoys out there for $60 when in a picture look almost the same as ours. Well, I'll tell you, when you get those decoys in hand, and you actually, one in hand, when you look at them, they look like junk. They look like shit. I'm just going to be honest with you. The parting lines, the carvings, the paint job, the paint adhesion, it's all trash, and you really get what you pay for. But when you start to get up in that premium line, everyone's kind of close. But when you put all these decoys side to side, if you actually take them and you pound them together, if you look at them over the top size-wise, you'll see that there is a major difference in what you're getting. If you look at ours and you look at them next to the premium size, ours are bigger. The paint contrast in the wings versus the center of the back, there's higher contrast. The carvings, I'd like to say, are par or better. The number of drakes also impacts the price per dozen. So if you're looking at 6 and 6, the cost from the supplier side is going to be lower because drakes cost more. The hens are easier to paint. They've got so much contour that it's like a wipe on, wipe off kind of thing. So where the low spots will hold the dark, the high spots will just hold the brown. So painting, it's easy. But when you get into the mallard drake, it gets very, very, very technical, more stencils, more time. So when you're buying a dozen, look for more drakes per hen. And then, as far as effectiveness goes, drakes are no doubt more effective. You can see them better. There's more contrast. Yeah, it's just a better decoy. So there's my rant on floaters.
I've never thought about that. I've never thought about the paint, the extra paint on a drake decoy affecting the price. And like you said, if you see 6 and 6, well, then they're trying to keep it as low as possible. So always go with the higher drake count. And like you said, they stand out more.
I would. Yeah. So in our dozen, to elaborate on us, because this Dive Bomb's my company, I'm trying to promote it. We have 4 original drake carvings and only 2 original hens. So we've got great variation and hen or drake positions with obviously more drakes than hens. So we're 8 drakes, 4 hens, and they're awesome. If you haven't seen them, check them out.
Beautiful.
But one awesome product, we've been working on with. As far as the sculpting, we actually sculpted this product, a snow goose full body. And I don't know how big it's going to be. It's almost more of a pet project than anything from a personal perspective, because I'm dying to run a full body. I don't know if it's going to be massive, full body snow spread. We've got some full body snows in prototype testing, prototyping testing with an awesome motion cone. So that's kind of something to keep in the back of your mind. So it should be cool. 4 positions, badass, nice size, motion cone again, phenomenal.
Will all of your stuff that's for sale, will people be able to buy it at the park, or are they going to have to go pick it up at the warehouse, or you can have everything over there?
So we are running a sale, 15% off everything we offer sale on Friday, which 15% off people may scoff at. We're not Sears, we're not Macy's. We never have sales. I think we ran just a few sales during slow season this year, but outside of that, we don't run sales on our floaters. We don't run sales on new products, V2Fs, V2FFs. We just don't do it. So 15% off when you're buying thousands of dollars in product is significant. But decoys will not be available for pickup at the pavilion or the show. We will have pickup available the following day. So if you order on Friday, pickup will be available on Saturday morning, and if you order from the show on Saturday, pickup will be available on Sunday morning. So pickup will be at the warehouse. If you were at SquadFest last year, you know where it is. The address is on the internet. It's a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive from the pavilion, and it's all of a 5-minute drive from the hotel, which we've suggested everyone stay at, that the shuttles are running from. So, Friday, come in, stay at the hotel, grab your order Saturday, head home. We hope you stay all day Saturday. Saturday, you stay out late at the show. You go to the after party, your unofficial after party, maybe at Westport Social, where people were in the fountain. Had a great time last year. We're going to actually stay up. We're going to stay open later on Sunday. I think our last pickup stops at 11 o'clock. So if if you drink too much on Saturday night, you want to sleep in a little bit, enjoy that hotel room, we'll be around. If we see a lot of people rolling in slower, we'll stay open later for pickups. And then, another thing is if you fly in and whatnot and you want your order shipped, we'll do shipping at the show also. So, take advantage of, if you're driving in, take advantage of the pickup to save on shipping. But if you're flying in and you want to take advantage of the sale, we'll ship your product to your door. You don't have to pick anything up. So thanks for asking that, Jeff.
Are you having fun with all this?
This is a dream. I mean, I don't know what to say. The funny thing, I don't know if it's funny or not, but when you start something like this, you're doing everything, and which is a lot of work. It's a lot of stress, and then you grow and things departmentalize. So you start saying, okay, shipping, you've got your own department. Receiving, you've got your own department. I wouldn't go as far as saying we have our own engineering department, but I'd say we have a creative department. So it would be marketing creative, branding creative, and product creative, or which would be engineering, which start getting these clusters of departmentalization where you find people with focused skills, and it kind of takes that, you wear multiple hats as far as my job goes, and it kind of, I get to step away for a minute and I get to take a look at above and say, is our engineering or creative humming? Is everything coming out there that I like? And if it is, I'm hands off. You guys run. You need funding. You need support from me. You need anything else. I'm there. You take it from there. And then, you go over to your shipping partner. You look at on time. You look at all this stuff. And when it boils down to it, hire people that bring something to the table that you can learn from, that are in it for the long haul. And I've really taken a step back in the last year, and I've done that. I've brought in guys that are currently employed, that have skill sets, that had long tenures, that make a decent living, and I'm affording that to them, and I'm making them hopefully a work environment that's conducive and supportive and fun. And there's times where I'll get frustrated. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. I'm not saying I'm an angel, but I'd like to think, once the dust settles and you get a guy that's been in business and he's tough, he's got a little grit. 2 days later, if you get in a knockdown drag out, you walk in, you have a coffee, and you start acting like nothing happened, or you say, hey, quickly, we both learned from that. Let's just move on. But this is a dream come true. The change from this being a little, one-man shop to what it is today has been challenging, but overall it's phenomenal. Feels great. Well, this is a dream.
And you said something earlier, you were like, you have to have lawyers now. Like, that's when I think that's when you've made it, is when you have to hire a team of lawyers to look at, and that's with anything. Like, if you look at Tesla or any Apple and Microsoft go at each other all the time, but that's kind of when you're with the big boys, when you have a lawyer that you just send shit to.
Yeah, it's a department of lawyers. It's freaking crazy. It's crazy. It's not out of control. I mean, we don't have them in house or anything, but it's just, you're making waves if you're getting letters from lawyers. I guess that's how it works. I don't know. I mean, this is new to me.
Yes, but I mean, I'm sure 10, 11 years ago, you were like, I just want to make decoys. That's all I want to do. And then now I have to hire a team of lawyers to look at all the lawsuits that are going to come. And I'm probably shouldn't phrase it that way, like you're getting sued all the time. But I mean, when you first start out, you're like, I don't need a fucking lawyer for anything. I'm just making decoys, making people happy.
Right. Yeah. Patents. And on your own product. So my whole mindset from the start on that, the Silhouette before it was a V2 was, I'm going to make this product and I can't afford a patent, and I'm going to make it to hopefully price everyone who wants to look at this thing out of the game. And we did that. We've done that for a long time. And I'd like to argue there's 8, 10 people now have copied exactly what we've done. And price-wise, I think they're starting to edge closer to us. But as far as price, delivery, customer service, product backing, quality, we got them smoked. I stand by that. But yeah, to your point, I never really imagined we'd be emulated by all these people. And silhouette's nothing new. I'm not saying I'm like a messiah. It's old. But this resurrection of it, I think, is in part from us and our efforts in development and marketing.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You've got a hell of a product, and we've been going on an hour. I know we're closing in on SquadFest, so I'm sure you've got important business to take care of today and the next couple days before we get there. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. I hope that we'll see you this weekend, and I hope that it is an overwhelming success. And like we've said before, if you are in the area, if you want to see some of the best in the business, get out to St. Louis. I'm assuming you'll have a designated area where all of your products and stuff will be, like set up showcase type thing.
Yep. So we have of the whole vendor map. You'll see us on the map. We have a large tent. We'll have a ton of stuff on display, the apparel, gear, that sort of stuff you'll be able to walk away with. Shirts. We'll have a SquadFest shirt, SquadFest hat. But yeah, you cannot miss our big pavilion to come up, check out existing products, new products, up-and-coming products, meet our personnel. And then there's a big map for all the other vendors. You can't miss it. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys and everybody that's coming. It's going to be fantastic. So come out and expect a wonderful time.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you, and good luck this weekend, and we will see you in just a couple days, my friend.
Looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you, Cody. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday.
I'll buy you a
Thank
beer
you,
at some
Jeff.
point
Thanks,
weekend.
Andy.
Bye.
I got you. Bye.
See
ya.
Cody Stokes, Dive Bomb Industries.
The man.
Change the decoy business.
It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look forward to everybody coming out there. And
I'm glad that is he meaning to call me back or not? I think they did a really good job with adjusting when to do it. July, middle July, it's go time, baby. Everybody's looking forward to the upcoming waterfowl season. 4th of July is behind us, so we're ramping up here.
Yep, look forward to it. Thank y'all for listening to us, and go to SquadFest in St. Louis, Missouri. See y'all on Friday and Saturday. Like I said, buy Andy a beer.
Check out all of our wonderful sponsors. Go check out Dive Bomb Industries, SquadFest this weekend. It's going to be a great time. Pacific Calls, they'll be there. Gundog Outdoors, they'll be there. Boss Shot Shells, they'll be there. Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Shin Gear Waders, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Bangtail Whiskey, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Dirty Duck Coffee, Ducks Unlimited, Double T Kennels, and Lucky Duck.